Hello, everybody. Yes, yes, we do exist. Can you see us? Can you see us? We're here, we're there, or you can listen to us, depending if you're listening to us on radio, Spotify, whatever, watching us on YouTube. It's the Bottle is a Sports Podcast. Yes, we are still alive. We're still breathing. It's Blaine Spencer and Joe Ciccoletti. We kind of went off the grid, to say the least. Joe, we're getting really bad at trying to make sure with our consistency with this podcast, but we're trying. Joe, how you doing, my friend? It's been a hot minute.
Blake, I'm just happy you remembered my name. It's been so long. I'm gonna be honest
Oh,
with you. So,
shut up, bro.
nah, man, I've been good. We've been just busy with life, unfortunately, away, work, outside life, inside life. Finally, the warmer weather is here. It's coming. We got golf on the realm. It's here. I start my golf league on Wednesday. I'm ready to go. I'm pumped right now. I'm pumped
Oh,
right now. We're back, but no, everybody's good. Everybody's healthy, and that's all that matters. So I hope you're doing the same as well in Utah there.
yeah, no, everything's good here. I mean, we actually got snow, ironically, yesterday, and we've kind of been talking off air when we're not because we haven't been podcasting. But like, all I know is that I send you a snap usually like once a week of me on the golf course, and you're out there in like 30 degrees, pissed off. Like, what the hell, bro? What do you do with your life? Nah, I've had some winter golf, definitely to say the least. So it's exciting that you get to get back on the links now. That's good. And it's
Yeah.
ironic, timed it beautifully. The most important week of the year, arguably in the world of golf, Masters Week. I
Yep.
can hear as I can see the azaleas now with the background. Dun, dun, dun.
The birds are chirping. No squirrels on Augusta to be found. That's what Justin Thomas said. That he swears. I think they kill him off, or because he hasn't seen one across the fairway yet. So that might happen. I don't know. Well, I don't know what goes on there. That's it's like P Diddy's house. You know what I mean? I don't know what goes on there. No, no,
Oh
pause.
no.
That's bad. That's bad. That's bad. That's bad.
That's bad. That's bad. It's all right. But it's that the Masters on CBS. And
Yes.
it's our favorite point of the week. We're going to talk about that a lot. Joe actually has a fun game that we're going to kind of do. We're going to do a little bit of a draft of the Masters, but we're kind of been missing a lot of football. So we're going to actually start off with that. We're going to kind of do our winners and losers of NFL free agency. Yes, we are a little bit behind in that regard. However, there's been some major news in the last couple of days. So we thought it was an easy way to keep that transition going because free agency is extremely fluid. Yes, it's very top heavy at the beginning, but moves are still being made. Teams are making trades, etc. So, Joe, I'm going to allow you to have the floor first. You're going to give me two winners and two losers from
All right.
the NFL free agency.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the first one I think is a home run hit for this team. Drafting a quarterback in the first round last year, building around this team to get in the playoffs last year, and then putting even more weapons around young CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans. I think they were the home run hitters in this free agency in terms of just trades and adding. You pick up Joe Mixon via trade from the Bengals. Now you got a star running back behind CJ Stroud. You pick up Stephon Diggs, the recent news from this week for giving up a second round pick to the Bills, getting another wide receiver on top of that wide receiver room that is improving especially over last year. We thought Nico Collins was going to be a solid wide receiver one, turned out to be really good for them. And Tank Dell also last year shot up the board for many as well. Picking up Daniel Hunter from Minnesota, the edge rusher, another massive pickup. I think Jeff Okuda as well is a solid cornerback too, or put him in the slot as well. So another good pickup there. And then they brought back a couple other guys as well. They brought back Dalton Schultz, a good reliable target for CJ Stroud. Um, Brought back Kyer Fanbarum, who was a solid kicker for them too as well. So just a couple guys that they brought back, and then a couple bigger names that they brought in. That I think this offense is going to be explosive next year, even more than what it was, especially at the end of last year. So definitely my number one probably winner right off the bat.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when it comes to Houston, they made so many moves, and I think them being ahead this year I think, moved up their win window, right? Their win now window, making those big moves when it comes to Mixon and Diggs, like you said. Like they even allowed Diggs to get rid of the last couple of years of his contract. So
Mm-hmm.
now it's just Diggs playing on a deal trying to make a big splash for next year. So I think you're going to get a very motivated Stephon Diggs, as well as, like you said, bringing back Dalton Schultz is a key part. Also, third or fourth wide receiver now, and Noah Brown, a speedster on the outside as well. There's a lot of things to like in Houston, so I loved what Houston did as well. But I'm going to go with my next one since you brought up Houston. For me, it's got to be, I can't believe I'm saying it, the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears made so many moves, and I'm astounded what the Bears GM Ryan Poles ended up doing here, right? Ended up getting rid of Justin Fields. We kind of knew that writing was pretty much on the wall. But getting DeAndre Swift in the backfield, trading for Keenan Allen, the splash is all over, right? Having Khalil Herbert already, having DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, those two additions alone make their offense extremely prolific. And now you're going to probably assume, right, that inserting Caleb Williams in, as many people believe he's going to be the first quarterback off the board and be the number one overall pick. The Chicago Bears have now maybe not put them in a spot where they're going to win the division, but they're going to be an extremely competitive team where they were already, what was it? I think they were 7-10 last year or 6-11, something like that, where they kind of rebounded after Justin
Mm-hmm.
Fields came back from injury. And now you're plugging in a rookie quarterback, which is why you're able to make those moves to take some of that salary hit, excuse me, not calorie hit. I'm talking about dieting over here, my goodness. Salary cap hit, and now you can make some moves. And I think that NFC North has gotten leaps and bounds better this offseason than people really expected.
I disagree on that, but okay.
On what? The leaps and bounds better?
Uh, Okay, like Chicago, on paper looks better, but we don't know if they're going to be better. Like, look, I love Caleb Williams. Don't get me wrong. I think he is potentially like the next Andrew Luck coming out. That's where I have him at right now in terms of quarterback ranking. But the Vikings have taken a complete step back, completely.
Mhm.
The Packers, I mean, they made the playoffs last year, won a game or two, look pretty solid. Like they're gonna be there, right? And Detroit's looked pretty solid. Like to say it's gonna be completely different than what it was last year, I just disagree on that.
No, I
Now,
don't mean I didn't mean it in that regard. I think that the division got a lot more competitive
oh,
than it being a more of a two-horse race like people were kind of thinking and it being, as it just being Detroit and Green Bay. Sorry, let me clarify that. So
sure.
I think
Now the
Chicago's
tides
going to
have
be
completely turned in
right.
the NFC North, though, because you were talking. If you look back 5, 10 years ago, the Lions stuff. The Chicago Bears they had a good year, came completely down, and now they've
Mm,
been in this shit show. So now they're looking up right now at this point. The Vikings were the top, and the Packers were the top. Now the Vikings are the bottom now, and the Packers like they're getting there, right? Like I don't know if
for
they're the
sure.
best team now in the NFC North again, but like probably second,
Yeah.
second. But the tides are turning now in the NFC North. So
Oh yeah, I think it's going to be extremely interesting, and I think just like Green Bay, they made that move for Josh Jacobs, and then they also brought in Xavier McKinney. They didn't make as many moves in free agency, but those are two extremely needed positions where they got younger and better in that regard. What's your
sure.
next winner, Joe?
Next winner I got, and this team might take the division now. I'll tell
Oh
you
my
that.
God,
They might take the
you're
division.
definitely gonna go with a homer pick here, aren't you?
No, 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 no. I'm gonna stay away from. I'm
Wow.
staying away from. I even know their draft was great. I mean, not the draft. The free agency was great. I don't want to do it because I can't do it to myself because I'm getting too hyped up about it. However, it's the New York Jets, man. I think they made the right moves where they were supposed to. Right? They
Okay.
beefed up D line, getting Kinlaw. They brought in an offensive tackle in Tyron Smith. I know he gets injured. I get it, folks. Right? if you can count on him for 12 games or 12 or 13 games out of the 17, I consider that a win for the New York Jets. They picked up Mike Williams, another good wide receiver to add on to what Garrett Wilson already is. He's a
Mhm.
perfect complementary wide receiver too to what Garrett Wilson is. You're getting a healthy Aaron Rodgers back. Um, another offensive line pickup in John Simpson as well. So a couple different moves that they made because they really just need to solidify their offensive line and potentially go get Brock Bowers in the draft as well. Like
For sure.
the defense is going to ball out. It balled out last year. It's balled out the year before. Robert Saleh got these guys to play. It's just unfortunately he has no quarterback play. But now with Rodgers coming back, hopefully the offensive line beefed up a little bit more. Maybe they make another pick maybe in the first round or second round, get an offensive tackle, get an offensive guard, whatever you feel like there to beef up that offensive line even more. I mean, the New York Jets could be a dangerous team right now. So
Oh no, I couldn't agree more, especially with what a couple of the other teams, like you said earlier just now, that with Diggs being traded, Buffalo, we could see them really potentially fall off, right? From an
yep,
offensive perspective. New England definitely in a full rebuild, so that you're kind of trying to figure out what Miami really is, right? They've kind of been a team that is very steady from an offensive perspective, hit or miss defensively. So a very open division in the AFC East now, I think, and the Jets have made the correct moves to go out and win it.
sure. Yep.
My second winner, I'm gonna go with your local Philadelphia Eagles. I got to. I think they made some very move. They made their moves based off of their needs, right? They upgraded at running back, stole Saquon Barkley from the New York Giants. They gave him the money that he was looking for, and Saquon, like we figured it out this last offseason, right? He didn't want to leave. He wanted to be a Giant for life. He was very open about that, but the Giants weren't willing to give him the money because of the injury problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia said, we're not looking at you as a running back. We're kind of looking at you at the Chris McCaffrey, just a playmaker, right? That you're going to be able to
Sure.
do all the tools that we're looking for. Paid him the 3 years, $38 million to make that, to shake up this division and give themselves an opportunity to basically get them right back into the fold, especially after pretty much falling apart, is saying it politely. They fucking collapsed that
Yeah.
second half of the year, right?
Oh yeah.
So
Yep.
trying to make those important moves to kind of get Jalen Hurts from running the ball probably a little bit less, right? Getting Saquon some touches there. And you're going to probably see the best version of Saquon Barkley that you're going to actually have ever seen, that you've seen him in the NFL, right? He's going to be able to
Sure.
spread out, play in the slot as a receiver, Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, definitely going to spread the wealth, and Jalen Hurts can be able to just think and dunk, pick where he wants to go with the football, and he's not going to have to use his legs as much. Because I think personally, there was an injury there that he never really got over with that knee, and it kind of lingered on him, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Then you address the needs that you really needed on the back end. You bring in Devin White, an absolute beast, stealing him from Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
I like Devin White a lot. I'm higher on him than probably you are, but that's fine. But their weakest position filled an extreme need there, and they bring back C.J. Gardner-Johnson, back from Detroit. Definitely a tone setter type player to
Mm-hmm.
bring back that physicality in that Eagles defense. So I love those three moves just there in and of itself.
Sure. I mean, even just to name another one is Bryce Huff. I'm not as big on Bryce Huff, but he's another edge rusher who had an
Right.
incredible year with the New York Jets last year. And then I think also locking up Landon Dickerson was another big move from them.
Mm-hmm.
An all pro guard that can lead this team. However, they still have glaring needs in certain positions,
Definitely.
and hopefully they address them, and then they should in the draft. I mean, you still don't really know what's going on with either the center position or the guard position now that Jason Kelsey has retired. Your defensive tackles, you're going to rely on Jordan Davis and uh, who's the other one? I'm missing. Oh my God, Jalen Carter as
Jalen
well.
Carter.
So like
Yep.
you're going to rely heavily on them two guys, and Jalen Carter could be it, but Jordan Davis really hasn't looked that great in the NFL. Unfortunately, he only playing like 25% of the snaps. Yeah.
Because
So
of
Fletcher
Fletcher
Cox
Cox. Yeah.
leaving, it's going to be killer. And what are you going to do back in the secondary still in cornerback two and safety as well? Because frankly enough, Darius Slay was okay enough. but Chase Brady was terrible. And so, like, what are
Because-
you going to do there? So you're going to go get another cornerback two in the draft, or what's going to go on there? So there's a lot of different needs that they need for a wide receiver three. Like that's another spot that they also need
Mhm.
to look at. So there's a couple different things. But I agree. Like I think the Eagles made some solid moves. I think trading for Kenny Pickett too was a steal for them. It was kind of out of the blue, but I like it as a backup for Hurts if needed, and I think Pickett is a competent backup quarterback to
I
say.
agree. Definitely a competent option. I think
Sure.
when it comes to Philadelphia, it's just them now trying to figure out the mentality that they want to have, right? They kind of lost that identity in the second half of the year. So I think that offensive line issue is definitely one that we need to be looking out for them to fill in the draft for sure. All right,
Sure.
give me a loser.
Oh, Los Angeles Chargers. I mean, they literally got rid of everybody, and I understand why and what they had to
That
do.
was
I get it.
mine. So now I gotta think of something else.
But like, I mean, they lost their two-star wide receivers in Keenan Allen and traded them for pennies on the dollar. Lost Mike Williams as well. So, what Justin Herbert has nobody to throw to now at all. Like you thought last year was bad. Like you have nobody now this year. You also lose Austin Eckler, who was a big key person now with the Chargers, and yeah, shout out to Washington there. I mean, you did get Gus Edwards, but like I don't know, like okay, great, it's great. And you still got everybody on the defense, and this defense is supposed to be all that every year, and every year they get injured and are like the worst defense in the league. So like I just don't get it. Hopefully Harbaugh turns everything around. It may or may not happen,
Mhm.
but like they lost everybody. Like they have nobody. Like they didn't do anything in this draft. They lost everybody and brought nobody in. What you gonna do when you're $50 million over the cap? So
Oh, for sure, without question. I think that's the easiest one. I think that was on from the loser perspective, right?
yeah,
Um, but I'll go with another one. I'm gonna go with Buffalo as one of my losers. I think they were hamstrung, right? Especially by their financial issues, right? Everyone thinks that it's potentially closed, and I think it's not, but it's definitely only creaking open, right? Their opportunity of trying to go out and win a Super Bowl has shrunk significantly, not just based off of what they've done by trading away so many pieces and cutting Jordan Poyer, right? Cutting Tre'Davious White to get those big numbers off the books, trading Diggs where they're eating 30 million of his money still there and that significant cap hit. Um, and there's still the potential that Micah Hyde's that they're exploring to get rid of him too. So they're kind of getting rid of their entire secondary potentially moving forward in Buffalo. So that's a huge issue that I think they're going to need to fill, especially when it wasn't really their strongest suit to begin with, right? Especially with how they were getting from an injury perspective last year. You do bring back, right, Deion Dawkins, AJ Espinosa. Um, Leonard Floyd's gone. He's walking after his 1 year deal. So I think there's a lot of significance, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And now you're going to kind of really see what's Josh Allen's true value, right? We kind of saw him show potential before Diggs was traded in, and then he really took off, right, and ascended into that top five quarterback category. Now, where does he lie without basically anybody on the outside, right? No Diggs, no Gabe Davis. That's Buffalo's first issue, right? Their only true person to throw the ball to right now is Dalton Kincaid. So
mhm.
there's a lot of answers to be said in Buffalo. So that's one of my losers for sure.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, the defensive side of the ball is going to really take a step back, especially losing your two All-Pro safeties, losing Tre'Davious White, who has took a step back, but still is a competent cornerback to say the
Yeah.
least. Um, However, I'm going to tell you the truth. I really thought Buffalo made out okay in that trade with Diggs. I know a lot of people might disagree on it, but to get a second round for a 30-year-old wide receiver that probably is now over the cusp of being the peak of his career. Now it's coming down at that point. To get a second round pick from that, and to get out of that contract now for two,
Yeah.
3 years down the road, I think I'm okay with the move, right? I think losing Gabe Davis is going to actually kind of hurt him because um, when Buffalo was hitting on all cylinders, they were able to run the shit out of the ball with James Cook. And Gabe Davis is one of the best blocking wide receivers out there. To lose him, I think, is going to take a big
True.
hit. I think they'll find ways to get Kincaid the ball, and James Cook, I think, is going to be there. Them two guys are going to be the focal point. But they still need to get a wide receiver one. Curtis Samuel cannot be a wide receiver one for this Buffalo Bills team, plain and simple. But they had to make the moves that they had to make, and I understand that. And Josh Allen's eating up a lot of the salary, just like Patrick Mahomes is, just like Dak Prescott is. Like you're starting to see now, these contracts are now going to start coming into effect, and that's just what it is and what it's coming to be. But yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's a tough loss. It is what it is. I don't think they're as bad as the way the Chargers though are right
Oh,
now.
no doubt, no doubt. The Chargers are, they might be, we might see them actually fall apart in year one for Harbaugh.
Mm-hmm.
We, I'll be stunned if they're actually truly competitive for a playoff spot.
Yeah,
If they're competitive for a playoff spot, Harbaugh should be coach of the year with depending on what moves they end up making,
I
right? So
don't blame you. Don't blame me at all. I don't blame you on that take of it. So, all right, you got one more. You said right. You said two losers.
yeah, give me one more.
I think the layup, and if you want to take it, there is a layup out there, but I'll remove from the layup. So,
You're gonna say the
no,
Dallas
I'll wait
Cowboys.
because you might say it later. So we'll get done.
Uh,
Um, I actually think it's the Bengals. Like, I don't think the Bengals really made any moves to me that like stood out to
mhm.
start putting them up ahead. Obviously, Joe Burrow being injured hurt them. I understand that, but they still have a need on the offensive line. They didn't address that really at all in free agency. So okay, maybe they're gonna do it in draft. Fine, that's fine. Right? You get T. Higgins. T. Higgins is still not happy though, where like what's going on there. So is he gonna ball out? Is he gonna play I'm injured, I'm gonna play one play, hamstring pulls, like I don't know what the heck's going on there. They also have to start getting ready to pay Jamar Chase. They lose Joe Mixon, who again, I think Joe Mixon's the top 12 running back in the league. So losing him and trying to replace him with Zach Moss, I mean, I don't know about that. But,
Right.
if they think they have a guy besides Zach Moss, sure. Now they bring in Gazeki and Drew Sample. Like, that's great and all. But, like, I don't know. They just didn't really do it for me. They didn't do a lot on the defensive side of the ball as well. Sheldon Rankins was their biggest hiccup. Like, okay, solid pick, but there's just like a lot of things where I felt like that team is like they're there. Like they need to go back to the Super Bowl now, and they have a really good shot too. But unfortunately enough, that whole division got a lot stronger, and I just don't think the Bengals really took that step to keep up with what the Ravens did, what the Steelers did, and what the Browns did. So I didn't really see them really as a winner, more as a loser in this free agency.
No, I like that one a lot, right? Because I think there's a lot of unknowns now in Cincinnati, especially on the offensive side of the ball, like you laid out, right? No Mixon. Zach Moss, they basically signed him and traded Mixon away because they wanted to figure out the financial implications of running back, hoping that they could figure out a way to keep T. Higgins. But it
Mm-hmm.
seems like T. Higgins' decision's already that he's done. You can kind of see that writing on the wall there. So don't be surprised if he gets moved at some point this offseason, I feel like. But I agree, especially with what Cleveland did, right? Brought in another wide receiver in Jerry Judy from Denver. Pittsburgh basically said, all right, we're gonna go for it. Trade away Deontay Johnson, got some capital there, as well as then bringing in Russell Wilson and Justin Fields to pretty much upgrade their biggest issue, which was the quarterback position. So
Yeah.
I agree. Cincinnati kind of stalemated.
Yep.
And I think we all both agree that the layup is the Dallas Cowboys. That's my layup.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Mine wasn't Dallas, but sure.
All
Yeah.
right,
They
well,
were
no,
not good
what was
either.
your layup? What was your layup?
Mine was Denver. I don't know what they did.
Oh, I couldn't. Well, yeah, I agree with that. They also were another team that cleaned house, basically.
Yeah. Like they just have nobody. Like nothing's that. That team might go 0-17. Like
Wow. You think it's that bad?
who do they have? Like who's their quarterback?
I I couldn't tell you who's on their
Yeah,
roster.
right.
I actually couldn't tell you outside of Javante Williams who's on their roster. Actually, no, Cortland Sutton. I think Cortland's still there.
He is. He's still there.
No one's
Who
gonna
else?
get them the ball, so it doesn't matter.
Like, yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. Your biggest need is quarterback. Granted, it's fine if you don't want to address it in free agency, but like, I feel like you need to do something. And I know they don't have a lot of money because of the Russ contract. I get it, but like,
Right.
you got to do something, right?
Or
Like,
at least bring in a veteran on the minimum or something.
you're a lot. Like, you pretty much have your cards on the table right now, and either saying, "All right, we're either gonna have to trade up." They're gonna either, if they don't trade up, they're gonna probably get Bo Nix, or you just this season shit go on 17.
Yeah, right. Nah, yeah, I could see it. I went Dallas because I think it's
Yes,
more because of Jerry being so outspoken that, oh, we're all in. You're gonna see it this offseason that we're all in. And their only move was to bring in Eric Kendricks from the Chargers.
they also lost a lot of players
They
too.
did significant.
I know
Like,
they lost their, I believe, their center. They lost a
yep,
defensive
saw it.
tackle.
Lost Tyler Biadasz, lost one of their DNs, Armstrong, lost Dante Fowler, lost I don't know how to say this guy's name. Jinabada,
That's all right.
Noah, one of their outside corners.
Tyron Smith they lost too because
Tyron
he went to
Smith's
the Jets.
gone, lost their DC as well. A lot of unknowns down in Dallas, and I think that's why we're all like, all right, Jerry, you made all these crazy statements and you've hurt yourself instead of helped yourself.
Yep.
So that was the one thing that I kind of was like for Dallas. I also get it, right? That they're gonna have to pay Micah, they're gonna have to work on paying Dak again, gotta pay CD. Like those three contracts are gonna take up a significant portion of your salary cap, but you're also like, that's still potentially a year away, depending on how
Mhm.
you want to go about it. So you should be making moves to try and win a Super Bowl, and it doesn't seem like you're really concerned about that, in my opinion.
Nah, I mean, truthfully enough, I hate to say it, this might be their last rodeo with Dak. Like, I'm not paying him next year. Like, if you don't make it out of this what first or second round now at this point, like I'm trying to ship him off.
Gotta be in a championship game, you think, to warrant it?
I I
Or
think
do you
I
think
think
he's
it
got to get to the
has.
bowl?
I mean, I think at the very least you got to make it an NFC Championship game for Dallas right now at this point. And truthfully enough, I mean, I can't see a hypothetical trade scenario where he gets sent to the Raiders, and the Raiders get a trade a couple picks. First rounder this year, the first rounder next year, maybe a second or something like that. I'm like, if I'm sitting there with Dallas, considering it, I'm not gonna lie to you.
You gotta actually push that. If you're getting two firsts for Dak,
I mean that's what quarterbacks are going for now, though. At the very
true,
least,
but
right? Like, look, I mean, let's not compare. I don't want to compare a Super Bowl winning quarterback to Dak, but Russell Wilson got traded for how many first rounders?
yeah, crap ton.
So I mean, and he was on the decline hard in Seattle.
That's
So
valid.
that's just what the going market
Yeah,
right
it's what
is
it's
now.
where their value's at. That's true.
Yeah. Yep. So
All right, I
here's
gotta ask you, how happy are you as an ATL fan about your guys' moves?
well, since you brought it up,
I have to
uh,
ask. I have to ask.
no, I'm excited. I thought it was a slight overpay, but you know
I
what? To
agree.
to get a quarterback that is what you're gonna get, and at least put some juice in Atlanta, I think it's gonna mean a lot. I think
Mhm.
having a quarterback that's actually competent in throwing a ball, deep ball, hitting the guys he's supposed to hit. A smart quarterback, essentially essentially it comes down to it's a 2-year deal. I mean, that's just what it is. That's what the
Right.
contract numbers are right now. But I think bringing over the offensive passing coordinator from the Rams helps because I think Kirk Cousins is going to slide in exactly what that Stafford role is. Now with Drake London as a one, and then they brought in Darnell Mooney, who I thought they also slightly overpaid, but I think he's a solid wide receiver too. Then also top of it, you got Bijan, you got Kyle Pitts. Who the hell knows what you're gonna get out of him? Like, I think it's gonna be a really good offense this year, and I truthfully enough, I think they're the front runner as the NFC South
I
leader
agree
right
with
now.
that.
So
No, I agree. And I think you guys made the moves necessary to force the issue to win your division, right?
yeah,
That's where I would put yourself. You guys still need to probably make some draft moves on the defensive side of the ball, I would say, but that
oh
doesn't
yeah,
mean um offensively. And I think also a key component, getting Rondale Moore from Arizona for basically nothing too. Like
yeah, trading
very good,
Ritter away,
yeah,
yeah.
very good slot piece there. Like,
Swiss Army knife. I mean, we
yeah,
got rid of Cordell Patterson, so like it kind of helps a little bit
fits
more. But
that
as a
fits that
wide
mold really
receiver,
well.
yeah, yeah. No, I really thought it was a good move. All around, I was really impressed with what the Falcons did, and I think this draft really opens up for them in terms of, okay, well, you can get an edge rusher in the first round, great, but you don't have to. You can go get cornerback too if you want, or all right, you don't have to. If you want to get ballsy here, we can go take a wide receiver
Yeah.
with the eighth overall pick. Like they're really kind of open with what they can do, which is always good, and they can take more best player available. So, all right, I'm gonna flip it around the other way. What do you think how Washington did?
I did like some of the things that we did, right? I think it was smart to kind of get. I loved the move to bring in Eckler, right? I think he's going to be a perfect complement to what um Robinson already is, right? Brian Robinson. Now we kind of have that two piece in the running back position. I thought we were kind of missing that. That was one of our kind of caveats, was having a nice little back that could catch the ball out of the backfield, and Antonio Gibson just fumbles the ball too much to be that guy, even though he was like a wide receiver converted to running back, right? So, I like that move. I think it was smart to allow Curtis Samuel freaking walk. I didn't think he was at the value that Buffalo paid him at, so I had no problem with that. Um, I think we did okay, right? I think we made some smart moves, right? Bringing in Bobby Wagner, I think that was a smart decision. We just needed some focal point and leadership defensively. It's been our real issue, is our linebacker position. Don't hate the Mariota pickup just because of, I assume we're gonna go young quarterback, and if we don't think he's ready, Mariota's someone that you can kind of plug in and just hold it down for the year until you think he's ready to step out there. And he's also
Sure,
a solid backup quarterback as well, right?
sure.
He's got the experience. Um, the Zach Ertz move, I was kind of like, I was mad on that one. I think that was
Yeah,
more of a move because we let Logan Thomas walk, which I didn't really mind that either. Didn't want to take that money. Loved picking up Tyler Biadasz. Loved stealing him, the center from the Cowboys. So did appreciate that. We definitely needed that issue resolved on the offensive line. And then I think we made a couple of other okay moves. We brought Jeremy Reeves back. He's a special teams specialist. He's solid. And then what was it? Bringing in Dante Fowler. I liked that move as well. We took a lot of guys from the Cowboys because of Dan Quinn coming over.
yeah.
So
The biggest thing with Washington is I feel like they had a shit ton of money and they didn't go all in on one player
no,
like
we
an Albert
didn't.
Haynesworth. Okay.
Yeah,
I
we
mean, I
didn't
don't want,
make the mistake that we usually do, which I
yeah, like
appreciated.
you just like you spread your money around to different guys at different positions that they're not all pro guys, but they're okay to good guys and they're gonna
Yeah.
get you by and you need them guys on your team. And they're like 2, 3 year deals, like nothing crazy in terms of money. Like I just think all around they spent their money very well at the
Mm-hmm.
positions that needed to be. And obviously they know it that this team is gonna be they need to surround them around a young quarterback that's gonna be coming in. And that's just what it is. So
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think it was just, this was more of an off season to prepare for what we want to do in the future more than anything, right? It was like,
correct.
you have the money, let's spend it. Let's try and build a team that kind of fits what Dan Quinn really wants to do, especially on the defensive side of the ball. We went pretty firm on the defensive side, right?
Hmm.
We brought in like three or four cornerbacks, three or four linebackers that are like you said, not a household name, right? But like a complementary piece like that would fit the defense that he's trying to run solidly. So
Yep.
I didn't hate it, right? I think the draft for me is gonna really dictate where we're gonna be this year
Sure.
more than
Makes
anything.
sense.
So
Makes
yeah,
sense.
didn't mind it at all.
Good. All right. We're off football now. We're on to some hardwood. We got the big Final Four matchup, national championship Monday night. Like it's gonna be Purdue, the big Boilermakers, versus the UConn Huskies, who's been the dominant. They both have been the dominant teams all year, and
Yeah.
I think arguably, college basketball has got what they wanted and got the two best teams in the national championship. There, Blaine, who we like in Phoenix, Arizona, Monday night, 9:03, I think, tip off here on Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah. I'm a Big East guy. Uh, my my Seton Hall, have to do a quick shout out. My Seton Hall won the NIT, so screw you, NC2A, for leaving us out of being a first four out team. All right, showed up the committee by winning that tournament. Probably means nothing, but we're hanging a banner, so gotta get that out.
The only banner
Um,
you guys are behind, and so
oh, shut up. um, but I think UConn has been leaps and bounds the best team in the country all year. That doesn't mean Purdue can't beat them tomorrow. I disagree with that statement. I think Purdue has really kind of started to finally showcase that their March Madness turmoil is behind them, right? They've been known for being that team that's getting almost like how UVA was, right? When they went through that little spurt of like losing early on in rounds and then they went on to win the title, right?
yep.
Very similar kind of style, right? They've been axed a lot of the time in the first round. They're also one of those teams that's been in history that's lost it to a 16, right? In recent years.
Yeah.
Um, but they easily have the best big man in the country in Zach Edey. The man's an absolute dominant force down low, averaging 25 and 12, right? So he's gonna get his. But how balanced this UConn team is after winning the national title a year ago, losing three starters, and arguably being better this year than they were a year ago is insane to me.
Yep.
Like they have, in my opinion, they have the best guard in the country. Oh, it's gonna bother me that I can't. And Tristan Newton, I think he's a complete guard in comparison to what we usually see, right? He's an offensive, he can score, he can rebound, he can pass, and he knows that he can play defense. You have an option in Klingon that's gonna probably he will be against Edey the entire time. So it's gonna be the first time Edey's really seen a true 7-footer in a couple of weeks now. So that's gonna be a huge component. And right now they're just so dominant. They can beat you in any style of play. Like just in that Alabama game the other night, right? Alabama wants to outrun you, and UConn beat them at their own game, right?
Mm-hmm.
They can play any style. They don't care what the style is, and they've just in the NC2A tournament they've coasted. They really like Saturday night was the first time that they actually had to take a game serious late in the second half.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's how dominant they've been. So
Yeah.
I've got to take UConn. The line 6.5. If if I if I'm a betting man like I usually am, I would actually I'd alter that and take UConn at 9.5. I'm telling you, bro, they haven't lost a game. They haven't beat a team by double digits.
You go on the Pepe. Well, usually I am. No shit, I get that. That's funny. That's
Yeah, I know,
funny.
right? Pretty good concept there.
Oh,
But I gotta take UConn. I just have to.
Yeah, look, I've been on the train with them from the start of the March Madness, and I was like, they're just a better team. They are clear cut the better team, the best team, and they showed it game in and game out through this March Madness. Like you said, the only game that they really actually had to play in the second half was this Alabama game, and they still won by 10 plus. I'm interested to watch that matchup between Zach Edey and Donovan Clingy for UConn because they're both 7 footers, 7'4", 7'2". So it's going to be an interesting matchup to see individually how they are versus each other. But I think I think UConn's going to do what Florida did in 2006, 2007, be one of the teams to repeat again. I just don't see Purdue beating them, and I would cover. I think UConn wins by 8 or 9 at least, to say the least. So I think the nine's right up should be almost where it is. But yeah, I think clear cut UConn's the better team, better coach, and better backcourt as well, which is big time here, especially guard play when you guys can get some big time shots hit down. But yeah, I think it's UConn all the way here, and kind of been on that train since the beginning of March Madness. And I'm going to continue with it. So
Well, yeah, if UConn wins, I win my bracket pool, so it's a big.
yeah, that's how I am
There's
right
a
now.
bit of a personal vendetta in there too. So come on,
Yeah,
UConn.
yeah, yep. Do want to give a quick shout because I know we're still in college ball here. Did tune in to the Iowa and South Carolina game today, Sunday for the women's college
I did
basketball.
as well. I did. I did
Did
watch
you?
it. Yeah, I did.
Very, very good game. I mean, obviously tuned in to Caitlin Clark. She's been blowing up, especially this year, to say at least, but even
Mhm.
before that. Very, very, very skilled player she is, and she can do wonderful things in WNBA or the Big Three, whichever one she chooses. I don't know. Ice Cube gave her $5 million. I mean, whatever.
Did you see the barstool that Dave would offer
Yeah,
her
he's
10
not
to
give her
run the
10. Yeah,
intramural
I like that. I like that. Um,
league?
but man, she's a shooter, man. She is like kind of like the Curry of like the WNBA. Or not WNBA, college basketball, but soon to be WNBA. Like it's wild.
In
She
the
just runs
women's
up.
game, yeah.
Yeah, like, she runs up. Whoop, shit. I'm like, oh, that's something Curry does it there. Great free throw, like everything. Tough loss for her today, but I mean, South Carolina team's undefeated. They're coached very well. They have a dominant center that's like 6'7", 6'8".
Cardozo, she's a
Oh
freaking
my
beast.
goodness. I'm like watching a game. I'm like, and as soon as the tip off, like I haven't really watched South Carolina. I just March Madness wise, just tuned into Iowa whenever they were on. I was like, all right, Caleb Clark, she can ball a
Yeah.
little bit, fun to watch. So I started watching the South Carolina game a little bit, and like the first 2 minutes, I'm like, if Iowa has to make almost every shot because there's no shot of rebounds coming off, and this girl's not going to get it. She's
Nope.
not
And
going to get it.
that was literally the difference of the game today
100%.
was that South Carolina size was the complete difference where they could go 3 or 4 gals that are 6'3" plus.
Yes.
That
Yes.
just absolutely dominated the boards.
Boards, yeah. And that's the difference maker when it comes, especially in terms of that. Like when you have that big of a size difference, unless your shooters are like dead on money, you got no shot. I hate to tell you because they're going to rebound inside. They're going to be able to post you up and do a move or two, and boom, you're up and in. That's it. So,
Right. And I got to give Coach Don Staley a lot of credit, right? Because they got blitzed early by Iowa. I think it was what,
it
11,
was 10-0.
13. It was
It was 10
11.
nothing right off the bat.
Yeah. And
Yep.
she didn't call timeout. She just trusted her team, right? She goes 9 deep, unlike Iowa, who only goes about like 6 or 7, if that. Um, and Clark got hers, 18 in the first quarter, and she basically just said, "You just keep doing what you're doing. You hope Caitlin Clark has an off rest of the night," which she kind of did, basically, right? She
Mm-hmm.
was absolutely on fire to start, and then she only scored 12 points the rest of the way. At that point, you're taking that and running
Yep.
with it, right? So, and South Carolina, they did have that vendetta. Don Staley was very open about that. That Iowa was the team a year ago that ended their perfect season. So that was a kind of a unique chapter of how it went full circle, right, to close that door there for
Mm-hmm.
them. Easily the best team in the women's game by a significant margin this year. So,
Absolutely. I
but
mean,
shout out Caitlin Clark.
the big difference was 29 rebounds to 51.
Yeah,
So I mean, yeah, that's a drastic difference here. And even the fact that it was even just that close was impressive enough. But I mean, that's a 25-point difference or 25 rebounds right there difference. I mean, it's
Mon
massive. So,
yeah,
so
monumental. But no, that was a very fascinating game, very entertaining game for sure.
mhm,
So, but Caitlin Clark, she's revolutionized the women's game
100%.
to kind of bring back, especially women's college basketball, especially that definitely gets basically kind of just thrown under the rug, right? She has
Correct.
brought that game kind of back, and there's not a lot of parity in the women's game, right? There's not UConn's not as dominant in that
Yep.
run under Gino where they were just winning every other year. So that's also another big thing for the women's game that there's a lot of parity as well in it.
Agreed. Agreed.
All right, so we talk some golf. Should we talk the Masters? The
Wow, we're
Masters?
finally here. We're finally here.
The one topic Joe wanted to talk about tonight.
These Aztecs of Bloom, we finally have reached the Masters once again. It's been over 180 days since the last U.S. major, and we are back to it again in lovely Augusta, Georgia. One of the probably the most famous golf courses, not only in the U.S. but in the world. And it's going to take place this weekend. And who will receive the green jacket? A majestical place to say the least. So Blaine and I were gonna put together a little draft here. We'll do a little snake draft. We'll do 3 Americans and 2 international individuals. We'll include. You can pick whenever you want. So if you want to pick an international to begin, you want to pick 3 Americans, 2 internationals, 1 American, 2 international. However you want to
Yeah.
organize it, you organize it the way you want it. And we're gonna go from there, and then we'll figure out a scoring system on the side to see, who does better. Obviously, if you miss a cut, that's not good. We don't want that. You need to survive. You got to survive to the weekend. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah. So always we'll get into the draft, but first things first, Blaine. I gotta talk to you about it. Did you see the report that happened with Tiger this week?
I
You
did.
did.
I
What
did
did you
see it.
think of it?
That he's not not allowing people to get himself pleased,
Yeah,
keeping that testosterone in that body.
I love it. I absolutely love it's the case. I'm all for it. Honestly, boxers do it a lot. I don't know if you know that, but boxers do that a lot
I
before a big match.
I didn't hate it. I can't believe though that it was like one of the main headlines though of this week. It's like the final weekend of the final four, week of the final four, and that's a headline. I was laughing so hard when I read it, but I also didn't like. I was like, how is this relevant right now? Plus, because there wasn't even like the notion that he was gonna play yet, and it's still freaking made it the
Yeah,
headline.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
now it's official, right?
yeah,
Basically, he's gonna play.
yeah.
That was released a couple hours ago, as he showed up at a
At Augusta, yeah,
Augusta to get a
he's
practice
ready to go.
round in.
Yep.
But I found it hilarious.
I
I
got a
really
kick
did.
out of it. I got a hell of
I
a kick out
literally
of it.
laughed out loud. Like
Yep.
literally was laughing when I was reading the whole
I texted all my buddies. I said, you guys should probably do this before we play golf now. So
thing.
my one buddy,
So, hey, are you doing that now for your golf league on
no, 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 no,
Wednesdays?
no, 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 we're good. No, no, no. I text my one buddy goes, I've been doing that for 30 years, didn't help my game at all. I rolled on that one. It was a good one.
Oh, so
All right,
funny.
let's get into this draft here. Blaine, I'll give you first pick.
Wait,
I'll give you
is there
first pick.
like there's no preference on like odds, right? Do we have to pick someone with like within a certain like betting range, or does it not matter?
Uh, I mean, if you maybe this, how about the we'll do 2 Americans, we'll do 2 international, and then the last one's got to be a long shot. How about
Okay,
that?
all right, I'm cool with that.
And yeah, and it's got to be a long shot. You're like,
Like
yeah, it's
what?
reaching.
Past 50 to 1
It's gonna
or
be
past that?
high. We'll see.
Oh,
Yeah, we'll clarify if it's
all right,
how
you telling me where?
that's fair. That's fair.
All
So
right. With my first pick, I am gonna go with You know what? I'm gonna put some faith in his name. I'm taking Rory McIlroy as my international.
That was a waste of a pick.
You know what? That's great, but I have faith. I think he had a solid week in Texas this week, found his game a little bit. It's been solid in Dubai with a runner-up and a win earlier this year. He's going to be my international pick, Roy McIlroy.
Great, great, fantastic. I'm glad he's off the board because I was never taking him to say the
I
least.
figured you weren't, so it didn't matter.
Because what happens is usually everyone wants to talk about Rory, and how well he has done over the last 10, 15,
You
20
know
years,
what?
whatever
Shut
long
up.
it is, right? But the guy that's actually winning majors year in and year out on the live tour now is Brooks Koepka. So I'm taking Brooks Daddy Kep because that man
All
can play. That man is going to win it this year. The green jacket is his, and that's just what it is. Brooks Koepka, give me him.
right, Brooks Koepka is your American. It's your turn again now, so go
Ah,
up
it's my
first.
turn again. That's I wasn't ready for that one. I gotta do the pick. I mean, I have to take him as Scotty. I gotta take Scotty.
You're gonna take Scottish Scheffler? Okay.
He's playing outstanding ball. Been nonstop, unbelievable. Literally, if not first place, he gets second place in almost every
That's
tournament he's
fair.
in. And an ex-winner here. I gotta go with Scotty. So I'm gonna take Scotty there as my second American.
Okay. Sweet. Americans are off the board for Joseph. Let's see. Now I gotta do some thinking now. Um, I'm gonna go with the defending champion and John Rahm as my second international pick.
Cool.
He's had a solid transition to live. He hasn't won yet on live, but he's been extremely competitive. So I'm gonna go John Rahm there, and he had a
Cool.
solid week out at a tough course at Doral this week when they're with whoever that guy was, Dean Burmester or something won, I guess, over Sergio in a playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then it's my turn again, right? Um, I'm gonna take Mr. Consistent in major championships. I know he came off of a significant injury, but I'm gonna take Will Zalatoris as my first American. The man. I know he's coming off of injury, but I do like his game, especially it suits up for major championships, and he's usually right there in the top 10.
I don't hate him. I'm just not big on the injury, and I'm not big on him putting right now still. So
That's
that's my other
valid.
problem.
That's
I
that.
actually
Well,
think his
that's his issue is the flat stick. If he gets the flat stick figured out, he should win. You should be in there every week.
I think his odds are really high, truthfully, for this. Like I just
He's
think
at
it's a little too
35 to
high.
1 at what I'm looking at.
I got 21 to 1, but like it just seems like it's very high right now.
That's
And
fair.
I just don't know if it's there. So all right, so I
Yeah.
got two here. So mine will be probably two international, or will be two international. Um, give me the kid, the Joaquin Neiman, the Chilean. Give me him. He's been playing outstanding golf with Liv. He said, I just want to be in the major. Just get me to the major. Get me to the major. Here you
Yeah.
are, buddy. Let's come through.
And he's
Joaquin Neiman,
been solid, played great so
hot,
far with he's in
playing
form
hot.
too.
Yep. Next one. Love this guy. He loves Augusta. Plays well. Should have won it 2 years ago. The mullet cut off the shame, but it's all right. He'll be all right. Cam Smith, give me him. The Australian. He's gonna kick ass again.
He fucking withdrew this week. You're an idiot for that one.
What's that?
He had to withdraw from live.
Oh, did he get injured?
I don't know if he's injured, but he had to withdraw over something.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't watch. I didn't watch Live this
Well,
week.
that sucks for you. So, but Ken Smith's down, baby.
Oh, you son of a gun! You. It's all right. I'll still beat your ass. So.
Probably true.
All
All
right.
right, so
Let's
I
long
got
shot.
I got an American still, don't I? I only have
Oh
two.
yes. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. You made so many
Um,
bad picks. I forgot. So.
oh, thanks. And then trying to pull it up. Yeah. I'm gonna go. a guy that's usually pretty consistent. He's there. He now has the GOAT's caddy on his bag. I'm gonna go Patrick Cantlay as
Yeah,
my second.
play
He's
solid.
usually solid, plays very solid at Augusta, very consistent top 10, top 15 finisher when it comes to him in the Masters.
Yeah, he plays solid. Yeah, he plays solid.
All right, so long shot. How big of a long shot are we doing
I would say it's got to be at least about 50-1,
now? Okay, which is a lot of them. So
maybe even a little bit more. So you
okay,
let me know, and I'll let you know.
all right, yeah, I'll tell you, and you just let me know. Long shot. Where's Tommy Fleetwood at? Is he within the 50-1?
Yeah, I got him at 55-1, so not terrible. I'm all right with it. I'll let it go.
Or no, I'll go higher. I got another one.
Oh God, let's go.
No, I'll go Tommy Fleetwood. That's in the 50, oh, past the 51. Tommy Fleetwood's my long shot.
All right, that's fine.
All
No
right, who's
problem.
your long shot?
The most
You're taking Tiger Woods, aren't you?
that'd be incredible, right? But
Dude,
if he wins again,
I kind of wanted to so bad, but I'm like, all right.
I honestly I would just be happy he makes the cut this week.
Breaks the record, sets the record to himself if he makes
Yeah,
the cut.
like if he just makes the cut, I'd be ecstatic. Like good for him, man. Like I ain't gotta be contention, but if I could just see that red again, like I'm fine with it. Um, give me this one. You ready for it?
Yeah.
You ain't gonna like it at all. At all. I hate it. Like I don't want to do it to myself, but like he's been playing decent and he loves it here as well. And he won here before. Patrick Reed.
No fucking way. What's his odds?
I got it 90-1.
But that's a long shot, long shot.
Well, I also like somebody right below him as well, but I think Patrick Reed's more the one I'm gonna go with.
All right, I'll give you Patrick Reed, but tell me who the other person you like.
I love Russell Henley this week.
I like that hometown kid,
He
Georgia
play I
native.
think he was top 5 last year or something like top 10 last year.
I think he
And
was leading after day one, wasn't he?
I don't
Or
remember exactly.
was that a couple of years ago? I know he's been a day one leader at Augusta.
I mean, if you want to talk about day one leaders, if Charlie Hoffman was still in here, I'm taking Charlie Hoffman any day.
Charlie
The
Hoffman is a day one leader at Augusta. You can book it.
Absolutely. It was like
It was like
there was
what,
like
3 years in a row that he was like on the front page.
death taxes of Charlie Hoffman leading after round 1 of the Masters. Like it was certified, man. It was absolutely certified. Um, but to get Russell Henley was top 5 last year, finished -7. But
Nice.
I mean, he's playing really good ball. He actually did pretty decent this week too, down in Texas. I think he was like top 10, I think, in Texas. But like he's 120-1 right now. Pretty good
That's
odds.
wild. That's
Yeah.
great. That's great value.
Yeah. I mean, he's down by Ricky Fowler, Jake Knapp, and Phil Mickelson. Like I think Russell Henry's playing better
He's
ball than
better than all of them,
yeah. So that's my extreme long shot, but I'm gonna go Patrick Reed though, unfortunately. So
yeah. Okay. Yeah,
so
no, that's not a bad one. Another one that like if I'm going way down there, um, I don't think he's gonna win. But Eric Van Rooyen, if the putter gets hot, I like this. He's been playing very solid golf this year. He's been around, had a couple of top fives in the last couple of months. So, and he's a solid ball striker. So,
hell of a beer.
hell of a
Or
beer.
hell of a mustache. I'm sorry,
Hell of a
mustache.
stash with the cuffed pants, man.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how he's still in it. Another guy also in the same ballpark, Charles Schwartz was always there, like for some reason.
You could book him and make the cut. You
Yeah,
just
like
book it.
he's just always there. Like you're like, dude, what the? Like you're still around? Like you're like, what the heck? But it is what it is. But yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm actually meeting up at my buddy's house, and he actually bought the Masters package. So he's
What's that?
so like I think you like pay I think it's like $100 I want to say, and the Masters like ships you all their food. So like the pimento cheeses, like the pulled pork, I guess it is, like the drinks, like whatever they offer there, like they send it in a package that feeds like X amount of people or something like that.
Oh,
And
that's sick.
essentially, so like when you're sitting there watching at home, like you're eating the food that would be there. Um, so yeah, he's buying the package and stuff. So we're gonna go over there, watch the Sunday round with him, and enjoy the Masters food there with him. So it'll be good. So
Oh, right on, right on.
yeah, I'm
Do you,
excited.
just a question. Do you think it's a first time winner or do you think it's gonna be a already a major champion winner? Based off of our picks, it's basically gone as a major champion winner for you outside of me and then
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a pass major winner.
past champ.
Really, like if I had to put all my money like on something, it's Brooks. Like
Right.
I'm all in on Brooks right now, and I just think uh, like last year was it last year? Yeah, it was last year, right? That he should have like he
Yeah,
was like
where Rom pulled away at the end. Yeah.
yeah, like yeah, he
It was
finished
him
second.
and
He
Rom,
had a
yeah.
really bad round. You're just like sitting there and even
Because
if he
then he
could have
won the next one. Because we were like, what the hell is because he won the PGA right after.
yep.
Where he just like fell apart for whatever reason.
Yeah, and it's just like something about here that like he plays so well, but like it's just like he can't get over that one last like Sunday hump, and it's just like, all right, is this year gonna be it? And I gotta go with yeah, like I think it is. Like I think
Right.
he's gonna figure it out. He's able to play this. He's healthy again. Like everything's kind of lining up for him, and I just think also like having Brooks win this would just give a shot to the PGA once again and be like, hey, like these guys are only playing X amount of times a year, and then they're also winning the majors now. Like, what are we doing here?
No. Well, now there's all that stuff that everyone, all the big names are trying to push the unification again to kind of get it right back to it. So,
Of course, and I mean, I would love to have some sort of unification. It's just then you're essentially saying is that the PGA just is going to back down to what the Live want it and essentially get their goal and get their hand in the cookie jar of
right.
what the PGA Tour had. And you got to find a happy medium. And also, I think you still need to give money to the guys that did leave, or didn't leave, excuse me,
No
and
doubt.
give them some sort of some back money as well. But we'll see. I guess we'll cross that bridge eventually as the season progresses. So
No, I think it's fascinating. I still need to watch Full Swing. Have you seen it, the second season of it?
I just finished it this week. I
What
didn't
were
think it
your
was as good.
thoughts?
Didn't
Not as
think it was
good
as good
as
as the
season
first
one?
one. No. Um, it just a lot of it revolved around the Ryder Cup, obviously, but like it just kind of made Zach Johnson seem like to me like he was just like a
Like he was,
pushover
that he
a
was a
little
villain,
bit.
but yeah, from the picks he was making, basically.
Yeah, because like to me, like I still think Keegan Bradley should have been in over Justin Thomas, but like it seemed
Agreed.
like to me he was more buddy buddy with Justin Thomas, so that's the reason why he gave it to Justin Thomas.
And Justin Thomas didn't really validate that pick either.
No, 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 well, no. He actually played well in the Ryder Cup. He played with speed.
Yeah, he
Like
did.
speed, there was
Him
the
and
one round, speed
David,
was terrible.
right.
And like Thomas literally was holding him along to at least get half a point. I mean, they just played awful.
The
USA
whole
just played
Americans,
terrible
yeah,
out.
that's
Yeah.
true.
But it is what it is. I just wasn't a big fan of it this year. So
Fair enough.
fair enough, he says so. But
Fair
next week
enough.
we'll be back. We're gonna get back on schedule, folks. I know we tell you this a lot. We're gonna get back on schedule, especially because NFL draft's approaching. I'm already on mock draft 2.0. Blaine's on mock draft negative 1.0. So maybe next week we'll be up at zero.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, maybe. Zero will just be breaking down your third one, and then I'll actually make my own.
yeah, yep. So we'll get a little bit more in the NFL draft. We'll get a recap of the Masters, of course. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about the national championship. That'll get done, and then playoff for the NBA is fast approaching right now, folks. Fast approaching. I think there's only about 4 to 5, maybe 6 games left in the regular season. So I
Mhm.
think April 20th the NBA playoffs start, and Yeah, I might actually be seeing the Sixers if they have to go to Boston. I just thought about as if they have to go to Boston during during the end of April. I'm gonna be in Boston anyway for a bachelor party. I might need to go to the game. So
You got to then. You got to.
yeah, so we'll see. Moving forward, but yeah, we got a lot to talk about next week and get into, and we're gonna be back. We're gonna be back. I promise you. So
Oh, you
all
said
right, I should have promise. I
you
should
just said you literally just dropped the P word, bro.
have.
Now
Maybe
we basically are gonna have to hop off the air and plan next week when we're gonna record
we're
and
gonna
make
have
sure
to
it
hop off and
happens.
just do it now. Just do it
We're
right
gonna
now.
record next week. The Masters is over. Who won?
Oh man, that would be great. So,
Start looking into the future.
oh man. All right, folks. Well, I appreciate you all tuning in. Appreciate you staying with the final whistle. But we'll definitely be back on. Hit our lines. Check us out on YouTube. Like and subscribe, of course, as always. And we'll be back on next week to talk much more about sports. So, all right, folks.